Okay, so here's a little bit on my capsize prevention system. After capsizing this thing once and noting how easily that AMA lifts, it only weighs 20 pounds, figured this was probably a good idea. So I bought some closet rod, 1¼ inch closet rod, and 2 6-foot pieces and 1 8-foot piece, and I reinforced it. This is the 6-foot piece going down this way. I reinforced it by adding some Kevlar roving, which I had left over from using on the AMA, and embedded that in epoxy. Found the easiest way to do that was to tie a figure 8 knot at the end of near the end of the Kevlar and staple it down, and then stretch it out to the other end and do the same thing there. Cut it a little bit long and make my figure 8 knot, and then make it as taut as possible and staple that end down. And then with Kevlar, I think you want to thin the epoxy for the first coat. So I thinned it. This doesn't, just to make sure it penetrates through the Kevlar. I thinned it with some denatured alcohol, probably 10 to 15%, and put one coat of thinned epoxy on, and another coat of unthinned epoxy down. Now the attachment mechanism here for attaching the piece that will have the foam for flotation, which is this 8-foot piece. I just used U-bolts, which actually worked really well. Some plywood. I had some MDO plywood, which is some fiber coating on the faces, which is really nice stuff, but I think probably any sealed epoxy or sealed plywood would work. Like I said, as long as you... Here is foam roller for working out sore muscles. So I had one of these things on hand already, and I found them on sale, fortunately at Dick's, for like $14. So I bought two 36-inch pieces. They're new, and I cut off about 14 inches of a piece that I already had. And to make the hole for the closet rod, I had a little piece of 1/2-inch pipe from, I can't remember what I took that off of, but anyway, it worked out perfectly. I took some epoxy putty and fastened in this 1¼ inch bit, and yeah, drilled a nice hole. Let's see. Oh, the other thing, the way of attaching this thing that I use is the same way that I attach my IOCAs, which are the beams that go from the Canoe out to the Outrigger. And that is to use ratchet straps. I have 4 ratchet straps that do not have a hook on the end of them, so it's a really simple matter to do that. And I just put this thing adjacent to my IOCA and tighten it all up as one unit. And the mark that I've got on this thing is, I found, seems to be a good place to put it. It extends outward from the Canoe by about 40 inches. And this gives me plenty of support. Now the reason I put the Kevlar on here was to prevent this from breaking in all circumstances. Closet rod is pretty tough, but it's just pine, and you want to make sure and get straight grain stuff. But with this Kevlar on here, it's virtually unbreakable. I could stand on it and it wouldn't break. So that's it. Oh, I did round off a little bit on the leading edge of this thing, but in all cases, I think this flotation piece will remain above the water. It's not like another AMA. It's merely there to serve as a safety feature, and I think it's going to work great.